This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Uh, can any one of you please confirm that you are able to see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Hope I'm audible to everyone. Um,
Yes, audible, audible.
yeah. So thanks once again, everyone, for your patience. So today we are going to start the LoadRunner course, and it will be a demo session today. So I'll quickly go through the agenda. So before I go through the agenda, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Krushik, and I have around 12 years of experience in IT, specifically into performance engineering and automation. So without any further delay, let me write the agenda points for today. The first thing that we'll be discussing today is what is performance testing. Okay, because obviously this course is all about the performance testing, right? So the first point will be what is performance testing. Uh, okay. Second thing is load runner architecture, because this course is all about the load runner tool, right? Yes, there are multiple tools available in the market, but this course is all about load runner. So we will be discussing about the load runner architecture as well, and then sample, record, and replay of the script. Okay, how to use the tool is what we will be discussing, and then course content, and then Q&A. Okay, so this will be our agenda for today. So after every after every point in this agenda, okay, I'll just give 1 or 2 minutes time to take the questions. However, if you want to put the questions in the chat window, you are welcome. You can just post your questions in the chat window as well, or you can directly ask the question. Okay. So what is performance testing all about? So basically, um, before I go to that, let me explain you this particular slide where it clearly explains what is software testing as well. So in IT, okay, in IT specifically, there is a software testing where we have functional testing and non-functional testing. So functional testing is all about testing the functionality of the application. Okay, so it is purely about functional testing, or what you call as manual testing. You might have heard this term, manual testing, functional testing. So they primarily focus on the functionality aspect. So for example, if I ask you to log in to a particular application, let's say if I open a browser, and if I ask you to test the login of a particular application. So let's say there is an application like this. Okay, let's say the application is Isha Training Solutions.com. Now, if I ask you to test the login functionality as a manual tester or functional tester, what they will do? So they will enter the username, they will enter the password, they will click on sign in. So they will. So if the user is logged in successfully, that means the login functionality is working fine. At the same time, if we enter some invalid username and password, okay, if we enter some invalid username and password, it should not allow us to log in. For example, I will give some invalid username and password. So probably it should not allow me to log in like this. See, this is functional testing, guys. We are concentrating on the functionality aspect. Okay, but when it comes to performance, our primary focus will be on the on how fast the page is loading or how fast the application has navigated to login home page. See, for example, if I enter username and password and I click on sign in button, how much time it is taking for me to navigate to this page is all about performance testing, guys. So from the performance tester perspective, we always focus on the speed. Okay, primarily the speed, how fast we are able to navigate from one page to another page is, is what we focus. Okay, how much time approximately it is taking, okay, from one page to another page is what we focus. Okay, now I'll give a generic example. Let's take a lift. Okay, so we all know the lift, any lift, right? So let's say you are on the ground floor, and now you want to go to third floor. Now you have a lift there. Okay, you went inside the lift and you press 3. Okay, then what should happen? The lift should go to third floor, right? The lift should go to third floor. So if the lift is going to third floor, that means it is working fine, the functionality is working fine. But how much time it is taking to go to third floor is also important, right? Okay, that is about the performance. Okay, but one important thing we have to understand here is, generally when we are discussing about performance testing, it will never be with one user. Okay, I mean, when you are testing with a single user, okay, primarily that is not called as a performance testing. I mean, performance testing, we call it, we use some, or we used to apply some load. Some load means, for example, take the lift example again. What is the lift capacity? Let's say 10 people. Okay, so lift capacity is 10 people. When 10 people are inside the lift and then press 3 button, how much time it is taking to go to third floor? That means when the lift is on its full capacity, how much time it is taking to third floor, taking it to go to third floor is important for us. Okay, the applying some load is very, very important. So if you are testing with a single user, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so if you're testing with a single user, that you can do it in functional testing also. Okay, you can validate it along with functional testing also. But when it comes to performance testing, you have to check the performance of an application, okay, by applying some load. So why am I saying and why am I saying uh, checking the performance of an application? Because we are into software field, right? So we deal with software applications. So that's the reason I just mentioned checking the performance of an application, of a software application, or you can write software application by applying some load. Like load means number of users. Load means number of users. For example, I want to test a banking application. So I want to know how the banking application is working if I test with 500 users. So this is the load that I want to apply. When 500 people or 500 users access the banking application, how much time it is taking, or how it is responding. When 500 people are using the application, how it is responding is all I want to know, right? These 500 users can perform different tasks. Okay, like some users can transfer money, some users can download statement, some users can pay credit card bill, like that. But overall, concurrently, there are 500 users performing some actions on the bank application, and how it is responding, how it is performing. That's what I want to know as a performance tester. Okay, so all in all, at a very high level, so performance testing is all about checking the performance of an application by applying some load, or you can write expected load also. Okay, we will discuss this definition again tomorrow with some examples. Okay, so hope you got some idea about performance testing at a very high level. Okay, I didn't explain any textbook definition, guys. Okay, not required as of now. So we have to understand the concept first, and then we can just go through the textbook definition kind of thing as well. Okay, so let me check. Am I audible to everyone? Because Sunil said audio is not clear.
Yes.
Okay, okay, great. Yeah, great. Thank you. Okay, so one more important thing. Now we understood very a little bit about performance testing. Then why performance testing is important? That is also an important aspect. See, for example, uh, if you remember in 2013 or 2014, uh, in India, I guess, yeah. So there was one e-commerce website. I don't remember the name. Either it's Flipkart or Amazon. I don't remember. Some e-commerce website. They announced a big sale for the first time. Okay, and what happened on that day? A festival sale or a big sale kind of thing. What happened on that day? Normally, let's say 10,000 users generally access that application on day-to-day basis. Let's say on that particular big sale day, like the number of users were almost 10 times, 20 times, 30 times more. Suddenly what happened? The application crashed. That means on that particular day when they announced the big sale, the application was not able to handle the load, the number of users. Okay, because of that the application crashed. Why did that happen? Because they didn't do the performance testing part for those many number of users. They didn't expect, right? And from next year till now it never happened as far as I know, because they are always focusing on the performance aspect from then on. Until now that issue never happened again. So for every application, before it is used by real users, the performance testing phase is very very important. If the user is not satisfied with the application performance, the user will look for some other application which is giving similar options. For example, okay, I'm playing some game. Okay, I mean it is always hanging, freezing. Okay, it's not allowing me to play smoothly. Then what will I do? I will shift to some other game which has similar, kind of functionality or similar kind of features, right? So let's say you are using some email to transfer. No, let's say you are using some email. Now you are trying to attach some files, and every time or intermittently, the attachments are loading slow, and you are unable to transfer the email. Okay, it is causing problem for you intermittently. What will you do? You will shift to some other email provider, right? Why will you hang in with that particular email? So you will shift to some other email provider and you can use that email, right? So that's the reason performance is very very important for every application. If the application performance is not good, then it will directly impact the business. That's the reason I mentioned a point here. If performance testing is not conducted, then applications might face problems like slowness, inconsistency, and may further result in business loss. Very, very important point, business loss. Okay, so every application must and should, okay, every application must and should undergo this performance testing phase. And if the performance testing is successful, okay, with the expected load, then only they should release the product into the market. Okay, otherwise it will have a direct impact on the business. Okay, so that's the reason performance testing is very very important. Okay, one more important thing, here, like as discussed few minutes ago, the goal of performance testing is to find performance issues rather than finding functional bugs. Okay, I told you, right? So as a performance tester, we primarily focus on the performance issues, not the functional issues. Yes, functional issues are important, but we primarily look into the performance bottlenecks or performance issues. Okay, so whatever the performance issues we call it, I mean, in the performance testing terminology, we call it as a bottleneck. Okay, generally we call it as an issue, but in the perform PT terminology, we call it as bottleneck. So going forward, in all our upcoming sessions, we might use these terms like bottleneck and all these things. Okay, so okay, so as of now, hope you guys understood like what is performance testing all about and why performance testing is very very important. So at this point of time, any one of you, has any questions? I'll take a pause here for 30 seconds. So hope you guys understood what is performance testing all about. One second. Okay. Okay. So now there are multiple tools in the market. Okay, like LoadRunner, JMeter, okay, NeoLoad. Like there are many tools like Gatling. Okay, like there are like 10 plus tools available in the market. But the most widely used tools in the market are these two, LoadRunner and JMeter. Okay, these two tools, they actually approximately they occupy around 80% share in the market. 80 to 85% of the share in the market, these two combinedly, uh, you know occupy. So other tools like Neoload, Gatling, they will be in the remaining 10, 15, 20% only. Okay, that's the market trend. So these two are the tools which are most widely used, and they have its own advantages, because let's say LoadRunner is a tool which supports majority of the protocols. Okay, like web protocol, web services, to client, there are so many protocols. Okay, so LoadRunner is a tool which supports majority of the protocols, and it's a licensed tool. Okay, and it's basically, I know majority of them say it's a tester friendly tool also, because it's easy to develop scripts in one single tool itself without going or depending on any outside third party tools or jar files, or something like that, without having any dependency on those. Everything will be incorporated into a single with a single installation. So once you install, that's it. No need to depend on any other outside third-party tools. Okay, so you can handle. That's the reason mostly it will be tester friendly. And and one more advantage is, because it's a licensed tool, the vendor, okay, the Micro Focus is the owner of this tool, right? So they provide continuous support. Okay, because we purchase a license, they provide continuous support rather than depending on some social platforms, and some other platforms. We can directly reach out to Micro Focus if you are stuck somewhere, or if you are not getting any solution for your issue. Then you can always reach out to Micro Focus. They will provide the solution for us, because we have purchased the license, and they will have the continuous support with. Okay, and also this tool is primarily used across all major banking and financial institutions. Okay, okay, that's a trend. So you could see any major banking and financial institutions. Okay, so they primarily focus on this tool because it gives data security. It's not open source, right? So banks, they generally prefer to give more importance to their data. So that's the reason they go with the licensed tools, and LoadRunner is their first choice. Okay, and one more important thing is, apart from data security protocols, continuous support, and tester friendly, performance tester friendly tool. Okay, um, okay, there is one more tool like JMeter. Okay, we all know this also. It's an open source. Okay, it's an open source, and it has its own advantages. Okay, like these two are the most important tools in the performance testing space. So I'll tell you whether you have to learn this or both. I'll tell you at the end of this demo, like what is the market trend, okay, how it is, in which direction it is going, okay. We will discuss that for a few minutes at the end of this demo session. But let's now go to load runner architecture. So let me open a slide for you. Okay, so load runner architecture, we will try to understand based out of some questions. Okay, for example, there is a bank website. Okay, and then let's say you have to do the performance testing on this bank application or bank website. Now, if I ask you to test this bank website with 500 users, how will you do? Will you bring 500 users and give them 500 laptops or 500 desktops and make them sit at one place and ask them to work on this bank application simultaneously? Is it possible? It's not. It's let's say it's possible. What if I ask you to test with 5,000 users? What if I ask you to test with 5,000 users? Will you bring 5,000 people and 5,000 and give them 5,000 laptops and ask them to log in simultaneously and perform some actions like transfer money or something like that? It's highly impossible. So for that reason, okay, we need a component, okay, which will simulate the users for us, okay, which will simulate virtual users for us. So that component is called load generator. Okay, so this component is a part of load runner architecture which will simulate virtual users. Okay, and what those virtual users will do, they will perform some actions like how a normal user do. Okay, so they will perform some actions like they will transfer money, they will download statement, they will pay credit card bill. Okay, all those virtual users will do the same actions like how a normal user does, right? So this component, okay, this LG load generator machine, this is also a machine only. It's a highly configured machine. Like when I say highly configured, like let's say the memory will be high and then CPU will be advanced like that. Why? Because based on the configuration of this machine, okay, so like you can decide the number of users. This is also one aspect. Like how many virtual users this machine can simulate. Okay, it all depends on the machine configuration as well. That is one aspect. Of course there are some other points as well, but this is one aspect. The load generator machine configuration is also one of the aspect which will determine how many users a machine can generate, how many virtual users a machine can generate, right? Now let's say we have the machine ready, that means it can simulate some virtual users for us. Then what you have to do next? You have to do performance testing, right? Then how do you do that? I mean, on what basis you do that? Let's take the bank application. What is the important scenario for us? For any banking application, what is the important scenario? Let's say transfer money is one of the important scenario. Yes or no? I know, I hope you all agree that for any bank application, transfer money is one of the important scenario, right? For that, we need to test the performance, right? So what are the steps involved? So what are the steps involved for this? So let's say first a user will launch the application, right? Then the user will log into the application, right? Then what the user will do? Then user will navigate to account, right? Then then uh, then user will select a beneficiary. Yes or no? These are all the possible steps. Then user will enter amount and let's say click transfer button. Then log out. So these are the steps that a user will follow if they have to transfer money from one account to another account. Yes or no? Right? So for this particular scenario, transfer money, okay, these are the steps. Now, if I have to test the performance of transfer money scenario, I have to run these steps with multiple users, right? So I have users ready here. So I have users ready. Okay, I can simulate like 100, 500,000 users with this component. Now I have to run scenario, run these steps. These steps I have to run if I want to test the performance of this. Then how do I run these steps? Okay, that means I need to have some script. I need to have something, okay, which I can run with these users. So I need to develop or record a script for these steps. So who will do that? There is a component called Vugen, using which we record the flow, or we generate the script, or we develop the script. Okay, so we follow the steps and we record the script, or we develop the script or generate the script, right? Now once you have the script ready, then you have to execute that. Yes or no? Okay, now you have virtual users ready. Now you have the script ready. Then what you have to do? You have to execute. Then to support the execution, there is one component called controller or performance center. Okay, whatever the script we developed here, we have to upload it into, okay, we have to upload it into this particular component, and this will trigger the execution. Okay, this will trigger the execution. Okay, that means what it will do is, whatever the script this particular Vugen has developed, we have to upload it here, and then we have to do some configurations, like with how many number of users you want to test, for how much time you want to run the test. All these configurations we have to do here, and then trigger the execution. The actual execution won't happen here. The actual execution will happen here. Okay, so this controller or performance center, once it triggers the execution, what will happen? It will send the script files and all supporting files to this machine, and the actual execution happens here, because the load generator is the component where the virtual users are simulated. So here the actual execution will happen, and the logs, files, and everything will be transferred between these two components. Okay, and who will take care of that? There is something called agent process. Which will take care of the transfer of files between controller and the load generator machine. Okay, if someone is asking you where the execution will happen, you should not say controller, you should say load generator, because that's where the execution will happen. I will prove it practically in our upcoming sessions. I'll show you practically. Okay, like if you go to any interview, they will say that, hey, execution will happen in controller, right? You should say no, and they will say, are you sure? You should say yes and give them example. Okay, I'll explain you that in our upcoming session. Okay, then let's say once the execution is done, there should be some component which should allow us to analyze the results, because end of the day, after execution, analysis is very, very important. Based on the analysis only, the client will take a decision whether either to go live, or whether to take this application to real users, or fix something if it is going wrong. So that component which will assist us in analyzing the results effectively is called analysis. So this component is one component which will give us various metrics, various graphs to analyze the results, Okay, and based on that, we will take a decision, like whether the performance test went well, the performance test failed, or is it a partial success. All these things will take a decision based on the metrics that we are getting here. Okay, so this will tell us what is the outcome of the performance test. So hope you understood. Any doubts as of now?
No, sir. Clear.
Okay, perfect. So these are the different components. Just remember these component names, load generator, view gen, controller or performance center, analysis. Okay. Now there is something called agent process also. I told you which will act as a bridge between this controller and load generator, and it will take all the files, supporting files, and all this data, logs, everything, and it will transfer between these two. Okay, we'll come back to that point later. I'll show you practically like how the execution happens in load generator machine. So now we completed what is performance testing and what is load runner architecture. Both we completed. Okay. So yeah, Naresh, agent process is again one of the component only. It comes with the installation of load runner. For example, if I go here and search agent, you will see load runner agent process. So this is also one of the supporting component only within the architecture. Now what it does is it will uh, it will transfer all the or it will act as a communication bridge between controller and the load generator machine. So why it has to act like that? Because the actual execution must happen in load generator machine, but where is the script, where is the supporting files? They are in controller. So those files it will take to load generator machine, and it will make sure the execution is happening there. And again, whatever the logs that are getting generated, it will transfer between those two components. Okay, I'll show you that in our upcoming session practically how it is happening. So at a very high level, because this is just a demo session, right? So I just want you to understand how load runner works. Okay, so hope these 2 points are clear as of now. So the next one, okay, the next one is sample, record, and replay of the script. Now can anyone tell which component I have to use if I want to achieve this?
Region.
Vugen, exactly. So Vugen is a component which will using which we will have to record or generate or develop the script. Now in today's example, I'm going to record only like 2-3 steps and show you how the script will be generated. Okay, and how the result will come if I replay. So I should launch Vugen. So once you install LoadRunner, right? So you will have this component also, Vugen. Just type Vugen, it will be there. You can launch. You can launch just by clicking on it. So it's launching Vugen. See the industry standard load testing tool. Okay, by far the best tool in the market. I mean, in terms of various things like performance tester friendly, number of protocols, number of users it can support, many things. So here there are different menu options which we'll look into it later. Now I'm gonna click on file and new script and solution. Okay, because I want to create a new script. Okay, so when I click on new script, it is giving a window where I have to choose the protocol. So I'll explain you what is protocol in our upcoming session. But for now, I'm going to choose this web protocol. So basically, whenever you are working with web applications, okay, this is a protocol that we have to use. Like the URL, when if you see that URL is starting with HTTPS, mostly this protocol will work for you. Okay, so select this protocol, and here choose the folder where you want to save the script, whatever the script you are going to develop. Choose the folder where you want to develop. Okay, so I'm going to use these 3 horizontal dots here, and let me select the folder. Oh, sorry, one second. So here I'm going to create a new folder. Okay, so I created a new folder, August, and in this folder we will be saving all our scripts for this entire course. Okay, so here the script name I'm giving it as demo because this is a first script, right? So I just gave demo and click on create button. No need to choose this solution name, solution target. Just click on create. So it is generating the or it is creating a script. Okay. So see here, now this is how the script looks like when you create it. Okay, a blank script, nothing, you didn't record anything yet. So this is where the recorded script or the code will get generated. You will get to see the code here. Okay, on the left hand side you have solution explorer. On the left hand side you have solution explorer, where you have different options, okay, which we will discuss them in detail. One second. Okay. uh, Pushbu, no, I mean screen is not freezed for anyone. Is anyone facing the same issue, screen freezing? No, right?
No.
Okay. So here this is where the code will be generated. On the left hand side, this is called as solution explorer, where you have multiple options. We'll come back, we'll come there in, in probably in our upcoming sessions. The first practical session will be on this only. Okay, again. So now I'm going to record an application. So for now I'm going to record a sample application. For that, let me start a server. Okay, so the sample application, what I'm going to record, let me show you. It's a web tools application, just for sample, just for demo session. Okay, so this is the application. It's actually in a sample application provided by Micro Focus only. So it's basically a flight ticket booking system application, which we will use to learn the concepts. Okay, but we will not use this to develop scripts end to end. We will use some other applications. Okay, some multiple applications we'll practice. Okay, so for today I'm gonna record only two steps: launch, three steps: launch, login, log out. So I already launched the application. So let's say I will log in by entering some username and password, and then once the user is logged in successfully, I will log off. Okay, so these three steps we are going to record now. So I'll go back to the tool, and to start or initiate recording, I have to click this icon here. Okay, or I can use this menu option record, and from there also you can click on record option, or you can use control R. Okay, you can use control R to record the script. Okay, I mean, because we have a direct option here, right? Icon. Generally I personally click this icon, okay, always, because it's directly there, right? So I'll click on it, and when you click on start recording, this pop-up window will appear. And here, for now ignore this, I'll explain in the next session. And then this is important, like you have to choose which browser you want to use for recording. Like, do you want to use Firefox, Chrome, Edge? Which browser you want to use for recording? Okay, you have to select the browser from this: Firefox, Edge, or Chrome. Let's say I choose Firefox. Okay, and then here you have to give the application URL. Whatever the application that you want to test, that application URL should be here. Okay, so the application what we are going to test now or record now is this one. Okay, this URL. So I have selected this URL. Now keep immediately, don't change this, we'll see later. Then directly click start recording. So what did we do? We have selected the browser, we have provided the URL, and I'm just clicking start recording. Okay, so remaining options we'll see in the upcoming session. So I just clicked on start recording. So what will happen when I click on start recording is, the browser, Firefox browser, will open with the given URL, right? I gave URL there on the window. I have given the URL and I have selected the browser, right? So that browser will open with the given URL. See, it's opening Firefox, and then it also launched the application successfully. Yes or no? Now, if you see, there is a movable window here, very powerful window. You might see this sort of window in JMeter also, but that is not that effective as this. Okay, this has lot more features than that. Okay, so this is a movable window over here, and if you see, there is some number here which keeps on increasing, like as and when you perform some action on the UI, this number keeps on increasing. So when the number keeps on increasing, it's actually a good sign that, okay, the good sign is that the tool is able to capture, okay, the application requests properly. Okay, mostly it will be a good sign. And if the number doesn't increase, like if the number is 1 2 3 only, it's not increasing, even though you perform some actions on the UI, it is still not increasing. Okay, then in that case, that could be an issue. So we have to see like why it is not getting recorded. So you have to change some options and and give it a try. We'll see that later. But when the number keeps on increasing, no need to worry, it's a good sign. Okay, now there are various other options over here, like stop recording, pause recording, cancel recording, or into which action you want to record. Okay, or you can create your own action. We'll see all these options later. So there are like checkpoints, the comments, there are some options, but for now I will tell you these two options. So this is insert start transaction, this is insert end transaction. So what are these? So before you perform some action on the UI, you first have to start or begin a transaction with a name. Then only the tool will understand that you are performing that particular action on the UI. And then when you replay the script, it will give you the response time for it, like how much time it has taken for that action to run. Okay, so what is the next action I'm going to perform on the UI? Here, at this point, what is the next action I'm going to perform on the UI?
Login.
Login, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this. Okay, I'm going to click on this insert start transaction and give a name to it. Let's say login, and click OK. When I click OK, automatically, okay, when I click OK, if you observe carefully, this end transaction will be enabled. Okay, see there. See, it is enabled. Now don't click on it. Before you click on end transaction, first you have to go and perform the action on the UI manually. So go ahead and enter the username and password and click login. That means you perform the login action manually, and you see the number again keeps on increasing. Okay, and wait for 4 or 5 seconds. Okay, or make sure that the page is loaded completely by in the top left hand side you see that refresh button. If you see that, that means the page loaded. Or wait for 5 seconds at least, and then click on end transaction, this one. That means you are ending this login here. Login is done. Now what is the next action that I have to perform? Logout. So I'm going to insert start transaction here, and I'm going to give a name to it, logout. Okay, and then I'm going to go and click on sign off button on the left hand side, which I have for logging out. Okay, I successfully logged out of the application. Now I'm going to end this particular transaction by clicking on this icon, insert end transaction, logout, and then I'm done with the steps that I want to record. Now I'm going to click on stop recording. So when I click on stop recording, the script will be generated. Okay, the tool will generate the script for us. Okay, now go to the action. There is an action tab here, click on it. So this is how the script got generated. See how many lines of code? Approximately some 50 lines of code it generated. Now observe carefully. Okay, observe carefully. Line number 16 says line number 16 says lr underscore start underscore transaction. What does that mean? Do you guys remember that just now I clicked on insert start transaction and I have given a name there, login? How many of you remember? Just now I have given on the movable window, I have given a name. I have clicked on insert start transaction. I have given a name, login, right? When I did that, this piece of code got generated, lr underscore start transaction login. Okay, that means this is a function. This is a load runner function, okay, which you have to use if you want to start a transaction. Then if you see line number 35, okay, LR underscore end transaction login. If you remember, okay, on the movable window, I ended the transaction by clicking on insert end transaction. How many of you remember? Okay, that generated this piece of code, LR underscore end transaction. Now, whatever the code that is present in between the start transaction and end transaction, that belongs to login. Whatever the request, this is one request, guys. So whatever the request that got generated between start transaction and end transaction, this belongs to login. How can I confirm? See here, the username which I passed, Jojo, the password which I passed, Bean. Perfect. So this is login transaction. So when I replay this script, based on this start transaction and end transaction, the tool will give me the response time, like how much time this login has taken. Okay, the tool will let me know. Okay, and if you scroll down slowly, line number 39, it says LR underscore start transaction again, but then the transaction name is logout. If you see line number 51, LR underscore end transaction, okay, the transaction name is logout. So logout is starting here and it is ending here. So in between, whatever the request is there, that is related to logout. You can see the URL. In the URL, you can see sign off. Are you guys understanding? Okay. So whatever the flow that we recorded, okay, so it converted into code, and we can identify, okay, based on the transaction names like this: login, login start, login end, logout start, logout end. That's what we have done. After login, what did we do? After login, I started logout, and then I clicked on sign off. When I clicked on sign off, it generated this code, and then I ended the transaction. Okay, and then before login, before start transaction login, there is one request. But what is this request all about? Can anyone tell?
It is launch.
It is launch. Yes. But if you observe carefully, there is no start transaction or end transaction for launch. Can anyone tell why? By any chance? Just a guess. Anyone tell why? Why there is no start transaction and end transaction for this? This is also one of the step for us, right? But why there is no start transaction and end transaction for launch?
Because we mentioned the URL in that particular application for launching that particular web, yeah, that link. I think so.
Yeah. So why there is no start transaction and end transaction for launch is, even before I see that mobile window where I had to enter the start transaction and end transaction, before that itself the application was launched. For example, if I click on record, see here, I didn't go to that, I didn't see that mobile window yet. My recording didn't start yet. So before itself, if you see, before I started any transaction, I'm already initiating the browser and the URL here. Okay, when I click on start recording, the URL is already launching. That's the reason I'm not able to see a start transaction or end transaction for the launch. However, I can add it manually, no problem. LR underscore start underscore transaction, all in small letters, okay, lowercase letters. And here in brackets, you have to give the name of the transaction within double quotes. Okay, so this is how you have to give. The LR underscore start transaction is a LR function, LoadRunner function name, which is used to start a transaction. Then where can I write LR underscore end transaction? Which line number I can write?
After
Line number 17.
Yeah, I mean after 16 you can write. Okay, so to be simple, to keep it simple, after 16 you can write. Okay, so you can write LR underscore end underscore transaction. Perfect. So here you have to give the same name, guys. Okay, whatever the name you are giving here, the same name you should give here, and then you have to write a keyword called LR underscore auto, which I will tell later, explain later what is LR auto. That's it. Now I can replay the script. Okay, so let me replay the script. Okay, uh, okay, I'm not going to make any changes, guys. Okay, so I mean, from scripting point of view, I'm just gonna replay this. Okay, how do I replay? I have to click this play button here. Okay, or you can click F5 on your keyboard. So I can click on this play button and it will run. See, the test passed. If you see here, launch passed, login passed, logout passed, and most important is this one. Launch, how much time it has taken? 0.434 seconds. Login, how much time it has taken? 0.154 seconds. Logout, how much time it has taken? 0.233 seconds. Okay, so this is just a demo, guys. There are some things which I have to change in the script, okay, which we will focus later as and when the related topic comes. But at a very high level, I hope you clearly understood like how to record and how to replay the script. Okay, so are we getting how much time it is taking for launch, login, log off? Yes or no? It's we are able to see, right? Okay, so this is how you record and replay the script. Any questions? Okay, so hope you understood this concept as well. Okay, if you have any questions and if you want to ask it later, okay, just make a note of it, and at the end, when I open the session for Q&A, you can ask them. Now let me go to the next point. The next point is course content. Again, very, very important. Let me open that slide for you quickly. Okay, so here this course is all is for all participants, like who are from IT, who are from non-IT, doesn't matter for me. Okay, but I want all the participants to master this tool. So based on that only we have designed the course content. So it will cover all the basic concepts till the advanced concept. Okay, so if you see the basic concepts, I mean, we start with discussing architecture basics. We understand what is performance testing, and we try to discuss life cycle, and we these four are all important concepts which we will cover in next 2-3 days. Very, very important for interview point of view also. Okay, and then we'll start the practical sessions like installation of LoadRunner. Okay, what are the features of Vusion? Okay, and then best scripting practices in Vusion. Okay, best scripting practices, what are the actions, recording, replay, how to filter the script with unwanted, how to remove the unwanted requests from the scripts. Okay, so many things which will be covered as part of scripting. Okay, and then runtime settings. Okay, so these runtime settings will assist us in replaying the script. Okay, and then you have the recording options. So these recording options will assist us in recording the script. Okay, the HTML based recording versus URL based recording. Checkpoints. Checkpoints means assertion, like we are validating whether we are routing to the correct page or not. For example, I logged in. When I log in, am I redirecting to the correct page or not? How do I confirm? So for that we use checkpoints. Okay, it's a different concept. So checkpoints is like kind of assertions. If you know assertions, right, in some other tools they use assertion, like Selenium, UFT or somewhere, right, they use the term assertions, right? That is assertions. In JMeter also we call assertions only, but here we call checkpoints. Okay, then most important question, how much of coding is required for this tool again? So you said record and replay, but should we do any script customization? Okay, 90, okay, 90% of the times, okay, 90% of the script will be automatically generated, guys. So 10% of the code you need to customize depending on your requirement. So for that we use a C language as a supporting language. Very, very easy concepts. We will not, I mean, the advanced C language concepts are not required. The basic concepts, very basic concepts like variables, data types, if statements, loops and conditions, and then functions. That's it. These are enough. Hardly 3-4 sessions, okay, on C language. Okay, you who are coming from non-IT also, for them also it will be easy. Okay, you who are coming from IT, they will find it okay. For them it's a cakewalk. But for others who are coming from non-IT, those 3 or 4 sessions practice is important. Okay, and then they can also customize the script accordingly. Okay, and then we use all the inbuilt we learn all the inbuilt LoadRunner functions and C language functions to customize script effectively. Okay, and then only one important concept, like how to write and read data from files, okay, using C language, that we will see. One interview question also, this is also interview question. Okay, for that we have a separate session. Okay, so then very important concept again, correlation. For this we will discuss for 3 to 4 sessions. Okay, very important. Without this you will not be able to develop the script, it's that important. Okay, it's not C language or something, it's a LoadRunner concept. Okay, or it's a performance testing concept, I would say. The same concept you can implement in JMeter and other tools also. Okay, the same concept you can implement in LoadRunner, JMeter also, any tool. Okay, then we have parameterization. Parameterization is all about passing different types of test data to the script, guys, because we run with more number of users, right? So that means we need to handle test data also. So how do you pass different test data to the script? So by using parameterization. Okay, again 3 sessions on this parameterization. And then we have, and once we complete scripting here, okay, we will practice developing end-to-end scripts on like 4 to 5 applications. Okay, or different scripts, like we develop many scripts, end-to-end scripts. Why we have to practice on multiple applications? Okay, is like every application will be different, little bit different, right? Every application might have its own challenge. So that's the reason, the more number of practice on more number of applications will give you more confidence. Okay, so that's the reason we'll be practicing on multiple applications. And then at this point we will be ready with scripts. Okay, after developing scripts end to end, and then we will move to controller or the performance center, where we create the different types of tests that we want to run. Okay, like load testing, endurance testing, scalability testing. Okay, like how you want to create the scenario. So now we will configure here. So for this we will learn for few days, couple of days, 3 days. Okay, and then we will also learn how to monitor the execution, and then in analysis how to analyze the results. Okay, what are the different metrics that we have to understand, what are the different graphs we have to see, how to merge graphs. Okay, how to identify bottlenecks, how to generate reports. Okay, all these things we will see. And then analyzing results and providing observations by drafting some email to client. Very important, you will not find this anywhere. See, you develop the script, you execute it, but how effective you are communicating to your client and all stakeholders, okay, about the results is very important. So I will explain you, or I will draft an email, complete email with all the inputs, like whatever you have to send it to email, send it to client through email. Okay, we will have one session, we will draft a complete email on the reports, including all the reports that we have to send. Okay, with that you'll gain more knowledge, and whenever you work on any project, you will be able to handle the project individually. Okay, because you know what to send. Okay, what is the report that you have to send, how to send. Okay, all these things we will understand. And then interview question answers, we have like 2-3 sessions on interview question answers. Okay, and then we have, okay, this is already covered, we will practice on multiple applications. And then there is some concept called virtual table server, okay, which is a kind of alternative to parameterization. So we will learn this concept also, very important for interview also. Okay, then apart from all these load runner concepts, there might be some questions which can be out of the box for interview. Okay, for that I have added some bonus topics here for you. Okay, so which is har file or fiddler scripting, like AppDynamics and Dynatrace sessions, couple of sessions. Okay, these are monitoring tools, guys. So these will also help us in finding the bottlenecks or finding the performance issues. Okay, then I will explain you about Jenkins, okay, which is CI/CD tool, how Jenkins can be integrated. Okay, and then triggering some scenarios from Jenkins, and then we have one more protocol which we will discuss about true client. Okay, it's a separate protocol for which we have a separate session. Then we will discuss about the important thing, heap dumps and thread dumps. Okay, like when you identify some performance issue, how do you analyze it from there on? Okay, so what is heap dump, what is thread dump, how do you analyze it, how do you download it, we will see that. And load balancer algorithms. Okay, this is also one important concept for interview. And then I will also tell you about, I'll provide you a session or a recording session of LoadRunner uh, connecting to the database. Okay, and then I will also try to cover web services. Okay, if not, if in worst case, if the time, if due to some time limitations, if you are not able to cover, then I will give you the recorded sessions of these web services. Okay, mostly I'll try to take session on this also, but there are already existing sessions for recorded sessions for these web services, like 3 to 4 hours. You will be given this as a bonus also. Okay, so this is the course content. Now uh, it is open for you guys to ask the questions. So any questions? Let me unmute all of you. Oh, okay, it's already unmuted. Yeah. You can post your questions in the chat window, or you can post your questions in the. You can ask directly. Yes, Surendra, we will cover that also. PC or LRE, we'll cover that also. Yes, I didn't add it here, but LRE is there. Yeah. Yes, randomized point is will also be covered. It is part of controller concept, the performance center concept, Sunil. Basically, when you want to when you want to perform some action, okay, by all the users at the same point of time, then you have to use the concept of randomized point. For example, there is a button. Okay, let's say there is this login button. Now let's say there is sign up no button. Now I am testing with 100 users. Now all the 100 users should click this link at the same point of time. Okay, then we have to use the concept of rendezvous point. Okay, we'll discuss that in our session. Yes, actually I do have slides for most of them. I will give slides, and I will share running notes, daily running notes every day, and I will share the interview questionnaires also, questions also. I prepared my own document of interview questions for LoadRunner. Okay, which will contain question answer, question answer, question answer. Okay, so all these question answers, okay, including practical questions also I have mentioned. Okay, this document I'll be sharing with you. Okay, while once we are done with the course, I will share this document with you, so that you know you can actually go through this document before attending any interview. No, Priya, mobile application, there is a separate course for it. Please reach out to Kumar sir on that. There is a separate course, ongoing course actually, for mobile performance testing. uh, PMR, no, we have sessions from Monday to Friday, same time. Okay. Sridhar, sorry, actually this notification sounds I was trying to block it, but it was not working. So I'll try to fix it in the next session. Yeah. Apologies for that. Yeah. Bharat, Postman is not covered, but I can, if you want, I can give you some information about Postman and how it will be, how the web services will be tested there. I can take one small session on that, but that is actually not part of this course, because anyways web services and APIs we are covering, right? So Postman is a tool to test web services, the services, right? It could be REST, whatever it is. So the same thing I will show it in LoadRunner also. Okay, but if you want me to show how it works in a Postman, I can show it in any one of the session, no problem. It's a simple tool, right? Nothing much there. Duration, like including all the concepts, okay, including all the concepts, it would take around 40 sessions, okay. And if you want like we will have 2 or 3 sessions over the weekend sometimes, after learning all the scripting concepts, we will have some sessions on the weekend, like 2 3 hour sessions, just because we have to run a load test. Like actually we have to practice load test, right? Let's say load test I want to run for 1 hour, 1 hour. So for that 1 hour load test, like I have to do some prerequisites, I have to do some analysis. Like it will take like 2 hours for that entire thing to happen. So that's the reason we'll have some sessions on weekend, okay, to cover the end-to-end load testing practically. Okay. Any questions? Any other questions? Yes, Sridhar. I will explain you. I will give you the recorded session of AWR report also, or I can take that one session, no problem. But there is something called AWR report, okay, to find DB bottlenecks. Okay, so I'll explain this report how to analyze the database bottlenecks. Okay, or I will try to explain in a live session. In worst case, I will give you the recorded session for this. Okay, I mean if it's a time constraint, otherwise I'm okay to explain anything. Okay, I've added that point also for you. Yeah. Any other questions? Dynatrace and AppDynamics monitoring tool, both the tools will be covered. Okay, I mean I'll try to cover both live sessions, but in worst case I will take one session live and one recorded session I'll give it to you, because both the tools having some conflicts in my machine. So what I'll do is I'll try to take one live session, either AppDynamics or Dynatrace. The other session I'll give you recorded, or mostly I'll try to take both live. In worst case, I'm just telling you, I'll take one live session and then I'll give one recorded session for that other one. No, PMR, Splunk will not be covered as part of this because there's a separate course for Splunk. LoadRunner latest version only 2022 we will be looking into it. 2023 is not completely usable as of now. They have some issues, so it's not into market also completely. It's there, but R1 not there. But 2022 we will look into it. Okay, so this question, what Sunanda is asking is like most of you might ask, like what should we learn? LoadRunner, JMeter, what is the market trend? So I have been observing the market trend since last few, like let's say last couple of years at least. Now the trend is that we should know at least two tools of performance testing. Okay, so and definitely more chances or more, I mean more chances of getting interview if you learn both LoadRunner and JMeter. Okay. So I'm not asking you to learn only LoadRunner, or I'm not asking you to learn only JMeter, because I'm also one of the trainers for JMeter. Okay, so I know things, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is learn any tool first, and then learn the other tool next. Okay. See, hardly guys, it will take, if you practice seriously, also 30 days is enough to learn LoadRunner or JMeter. Okay. So now learn complete one tool first, and then go for other tool. my personal opinion, if you try to learn both at a time, right, you will end up learning, only 50% or 40% of both the tools, which will have no impact, okay, or which will have no use, especially in interviews. So master one tool, then go to other tool. That's what I suggest. But learn both the tools. Okay. Now let's say you mastered both the tools. You have free time. Learning is a continuous activity. You can learn new load also later on. Just telling you. Okay. So begin with one. Start one by one. Okay. Great things won't come overnight, right? So you have to be patient. So just start with one tool, learn one tool, master that tool, and switch to other tool. Learn that tool, master that tool, switch to other tool. Parallelly, I mean, when you are learning LoadRunner or JMeter, whatever it is initially, you can obviously you will cover, you will learn AppDynamics or Dynatrace also, which where we are covering, the APM tool. Okay, you are learning web services. You will be learning True Client Protocol. Okay, so many things we are learning. Okay, which will be sufficient for interview purpose. Okay, any other question? Yeah, PC we will cover, Rohini. Yes, both we will cover, controller and that both. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so if you have any other questions, right, please do reach out to me on WhatsApp. I'm there in the WhatsApp group, so I'm always available. So you can just ping me. I can call you. I will call you, as soon as possible. If it's very urgent, you can call me directly. Okay. Uh, so I mean, you can call me for any scripting issues or anything during the course. During the course or after completion of the course, also you can reach out to me anytime. If you are trying to attend any interview, okay, let's say tomorrow there is one interview for you, okay, or let's say day after tomorrow one interview is there for you. Just ping me and ask me to take some mock interview. I will take mock interview for you, and I'll okay, so that it will be helpful for you for your interview process. Okay, so anything else? Okay, perfect. So please do reach out to me for any other further questions. If you have any questions related to the fees and all those things, please reach out to Kumar sir. Kumar sir is there in the group. So you can just ping in the group, or you can reach out to Kumar sir, Anita ma'am, whoever it is in the group. You can just post your questions related to that. If you have any course related questions, like subject related questions, please do reach out to me. Or in fact, you can reach out to Kumar sir also, no problem. Uh, so with this, I'm stopping the session here. And yes, Bharat, we will practice on multiple applications, right? End to end. So end to end project means, that means how you do in your real time project, same thing we will replicate here. Okay, like how you gather, how you get the requirement, how you convert that requirement into scripts and execution analysis, how you send an email to client, how you convince the client that application is working fine, all these things. Okay, so thanks once again, everyone, and have a great rest of the day. I hope to see all of you in the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you.